It's a pleasure and an honor for me to be in this seminar, in the webinar on groundwater resources. I apologize for my poor English, but I will try to explain what is the situation of groundwater in South America. Well, it appears about Latin America, but I think I will speak more of South America, which is a little smaller than Latin America. As we can say that South America is a privileged continent for water resources. South America has about 26% of the world water, including surface and groundwater, and only 6% of the world population. Of course, there is a very unequal distribution of water and groundwater in particular in South America. But in general, the water resources has a great potential. What is the water use in South America? Here we can see that the green column is irrigation, agricultural use, and it's what is the most important in almost every country. We have two exceptions. One is Colombia, and the other one is Venezuela, where the agricultural use is equal to the domestic use, drinking water use in these countries. So the South America has been divided in 4 global groundwater regions. We can see that number 6 is the Andean belt. It's along the coast, the Pacific coast of South America, when you can find a lot of little aquifers, not very big aquifer, but some little ones were able to provide water for domestic use and agricultural use in these countries. Number 7 is the biggest one. There are the lowlands of South America, which extend from Venezuela to Patagonia, and where are most of the mega aquifer of South America. Number 8 is the Guyana Shield in Venezuela and Brazil, the oldest part of the geological of South America. And 9 is the Brazilian Shield and the associated basin in South America. This is data from the Aquastat, from the FAO, and we can see the groundwater flux in Latin America with a range from almost 14 to 2,000 cubic kilometers per year. Most of the country has between 100 and 300 cubic millimeter per year as a recharge flux in groundwater. The attraction of groundwater in South America per capita is mostly between 10 and 100 cubic meter per year. And the dominant water use sector is variable from irrigation and domestic. The industry use of groundwater is very little percentage of the total. Here you can see data also from the Aquastat on the FAO with the groundwater abstraction for irrigation. On the green part, the blue is the domestic use, and the industrial use is the red one. Here we have a detail of the domestic use of groundwater in South America. Most countries, some countries are above 50%, most countries are between 25 and 50%, and only Ecuador and Paraguay are lower than 25% for groundwater's use and domestic use. This map is not very recent, and I think that the number will have changed since then. South America has 3 mega aquifers. As you can see on this one, the number 18 is a great Amazonian aquifer. We will speak of that later. 20 is a Maranhão basin in Brazil, and 21 is a well-known Guarani aquifer with a share between Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. The ISAM project has identified about 73 transboundary aquifer systems in South America, included 4 in the Caribbean, 18 in Central America, and 30 in South America. Here you can see in this map, this transboundary aquifer were shared between 2 or more countries. Venezuela has 3 transboundary aquifers, so 3 small aquifers. Here is a well-known Guarani aquifer. It has a total area of 1 million, almost 1,200,000 square kilometers, which are almost 80% in Brazil, 20%, well, no, 50% in Argentina, and 5% in Paraguay, and 4% in Uruguay. The estimated total water volume, groundwater volume, is about 40,000 cubic kilometers. The thickness of the aquifer is between 50 and 800 meters, and the estimated total recharge rate is about 166 cubic kilometers per year. This supposes that the Guarani aquifer has the capability to provide water to the entire world during 200 years. And there is a program management between these 4 countries for the use of the Guarani aquifer. In 2010, Brazil proposed the Great Amazonian Aquifer. It is an aquifer that has an estimated capacity of 160,000 cubic kilometers of fresh water. It contains more than 80% of the total volume of water of the Amazonian. It's between 120 and 160 meters below the surface. But I think we don't have enough data now to really certify the capacity or the potential of this great Amazonian aquifer. So let's go now to Venezuela. Here you can see the hydrogeological map of Venezuela. You can see the predominance of the blue color. That means that there are a lot of groundwater in Venezuela. More than 90% of the territory has groundwater potential. Venezuela has been divided in 4 hydrogeological regions. The first one, A, is the Andean region. B is a coastal region, and C is a big Orinoco region, which has the highest potential for groundwater in the country. The Ministry of Environment of Venezuela has registered about 50,000 wells in the country. But is this from an estimation of a total number of wells of more than 100,000? That's one of the first problems, the main problem we have to manage, not only in Venezuela, but I think that all South America has the information. The basic information was not available in this system. On this map, you can see about 20,000 wells, but we can see the imprecision, the difficulty to have good information of that. Yeah? We have a pumping well in the Caribbean Sea, we have pumping well in Colombia, in the Maracaibo Lake, and that was a problem with available data. I think the biggest aquifer in Venezuela is Mesa de Guanipa, which is located in the eastern part of the Venezuelan lowlands. You can see that part. It has a total superficie of almost 12,000 square kilometers. The total groundwater volume is estimated in 60 cubic kilometers with a natural recharge of 122 millimeters per year. And we have information only on the first 3 or 4 layers of the aquifer up to, because wells, the drilling of wells has down to 200 meters. But we suppose that the thickness of the layers, of the aquifer layer, should be about to 600 meters. An interesting and the most studied case of groundwater in Venezuela is about the Jacombo project. The Jacombo project is located in the western part of Venezuela. The Jacombo watershed is located south of the Andean Cordillera, and the Kibo Valley is located north of the Andean Cordillera. So the Jacombo River is flowing in the wet zone, and the Kibo Valley is located in the semi-arid zone north of the Cordillera. This is the Kibo Valley. That is the project. It consists in building a dam on the Jacombo River to translate water from the wet side of the Andes to the semi-arid side of each one. It's supposed to provide water to the city of Barquisimeto, and also to provide water for the irrigation of 22,000 hectares of agricultural land in the Kibo Valley. What is the problem of groundwater in the Kibo Valley? Well, about 50% of the water used for irrigation comes from the aquifer. The intensive use of groundwater for irrigation began in the 50s. The first tube well was drilled in 1956. In 1975, the groundwater extraction reached about 35 million cubic meter, while the estimated natural recharge is only 23 million cubic meter per year. So you can see the over exploitation of the aquifer, and it has causes at the static level decline about 100 meters during the last 40 years. Here you can see the Kibo aquifer at the surface, and what you assume to be the impervious bottom of the Kibo aquifer. It is a small aquifer. Is that an extension of about 220 square kilometers. And this is a groundwater reservoir. We suppose we have about 120 million cubic meters still in this aquifer, with all the active wells in green and in red. So what's the problem with that? I think that the Kibo aquifer is the only one to have a management plan in Venezuela. We have a map for the zonification of the aquifer. The red zone is wells. It is no new wells are allowed to be drilled in that part. The yellow part is where you can drill almost 25% of new wells, and the green zone is a totally free drilling zone. And with that zonification, we succeed to control the groundwater depletion in the Kibo aquifer. The water level are now stabilized much deeper than 50 years ago, but we know have maybe able to control all this water withdrawal in the Kibo aquifer. So as a conclusion, we can say that groundwater is a very important resource, water resource in South America, in Venezuela in particular. But what of the big problem to manage this resource is data availability of data, poor information about existing well, and well data as the depth of the well, the volume of water extraction, and this one. So I think that this term of this World Water Day this year, that making the invisible visible, is very important for South America because of our lack of visibility of the groundwater resources. Well, thank you for your attention.